Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Very, very good. I'm super excited. We got some fun stuff that we're going to be doing today, and I've got a guest on the program. Going to be visiting with Kelly Meister. She is the author of The Crazy Critter Lady, also the author of No Better Medicine. So she's a crazy critter lady and proud of it. That's awesome. Isn't that cool?
Sure.
Well, you're just looking at me like I'm nuts. I think it's fun.
Okay.
For somebody to, because if you have a bunch of animals and people call you a crazy critter lady, she embraced the crazy critter lady.
Alrighty.
I just think that's really cool.
That's
she's made a thing of it. We're going to be chatting with her coming up in the program. Also, the top employees at Tops Friendly Markets in Erie, Pennsylvania, they've been catching hundreds of little white rabbits everywhere, using everything from bags to boxes. So there's white rabbits hopping all over their store. Do you think a magician went there and said, I'm going to make some rabbits appear forever? Poof.
What would be wrong with having some rabbits? They're adorable.
You don't want them hopping all over a supermarket.
I don't know.
Eating the lettuce and the carrots.
Might make coming there a little more fun. Might make getting groceries a little more fun.
I don't think that's a good plan. Anyway, they're picking them up. I still think that there was a magician involved.
Wonder how they got in there.
That's what I'm saying. I think a magician did it. Poof. There you go.
Huh.
Coming up, we're going to magically talk about something else because this is going nowhere. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Scientists at the University of Saskatchewan in Canada claim they have found that women sometimes ovulate several times in a single month, which may require the rewriting of medical textbooks and could explain why the rhythm method of birth control doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's some
I know
women.
several people who try that rhythm method and it hasn't worked out at all.
What is the rhythm method? Just where they go, hey, I only got to be careful.
I'm not ovulating, so I can have
I can
sex
do this,
now.
and then so that's the way. So some people ovulate more than once a month. Here, I don't understand what goes on down there.
Sometimes it's best if you just don't know.
These Saskatchewan scientists, what they were hanging around going, I got an idea. Let's try to figure this out. There are other things that I would try to figure out way before I'd ever try to mess with any of that. So I have no clue.
Some things just you don't need to know.
Yeah, I don't need to know. I'm going to just continue to think that, storks bring the babies.
There you go.
I'll be happy with that. Coming up, we're going to talk about a man's pants and how they saved his life.
Oh.
Yeah, you always want to hear happy stories like that. That's coming your way. Also, we've got the Crazy Critter Lady later in the program. It's going to be a fun chat. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVWheelator.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVWheelator.com.
A man's pants save him from a bullet. Listen to this. Willie Mayberry, an innocent bystander, was waiting for a bus when he was struck by a bullet from a nearby domestic argument.
Ew.
Mayberry, thankfully, was okay thanks to the fact that he was wearing 3 pairs of pants.
Why?
Let's get into this. Police say the 53-year-old man escaped injury because he was so far away from where the gun had been shot, it wasn't able to penetrate all 3 pairs of pants. In fact, the bullet was recovered from one of his pockets. As for the question that everybody's wondering right now,
why was he wearing 3 pairs of pants?
Why was he wearing those? Officers reply, we don't ask those types of questions. Sometimes the answers frighten us, so they didn't even ask.
See, I would have asked.
I would have asked as well.
I would have been very curious.
I would have said, congratulations, Willie. Thank you so much for giving us this evidence back. But I got a question. Why in the world are you wearing 3 pairs of pants?
Yeah, why do you have on 3 pairs of pants? You got to tell us. We're curious.
Maybe he was just afraid that, he was going to get shot and that second and third pair might help him deflect the bullet, which in that case, now who's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he would wear 3 pairs of pants. Have you ever tried to wear
Maybe he's homeless and those were like all of his clothes.
Could be. Have you ever tried to wear 2 pairs of pants?
No.
I did. One time I tried to do this. And it wasn't 2 pairs of pants. It was a pair of shorts, and then I put a pair of pants over said shorts. So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine trying to wear another pair of pants over those. And the shorts that I'm talking about weren't even really shorts. If you want to get official, they were a swimming suit. So I was wearing a swimming suit with pants over a swimming suit. And that was uncomfortable enough. I cannot imagine throwing in pants on top of pants on top of pants. But it happened, and this was, where was this at? It doesn't even say. Somewhere. At a bus stop.
That is just bizarre.
Willie Mabry.
He must have been homeless.
I have no
or
clue.
something.
Or he just really likes pants.
Or
I like
maybe
all of
it's
these pants.
very chilly. And
Maybe he was getting ready to go film one of those commercials like that guy that says, hey, maybe we go for a round of golf, and he quick changes, he's wearing golf. How about tennis? Ready for that, too. Maybe that's what he was doing. I have no idea. All I know is he was wearing a lot of pants, and you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. It's not often someone asks police to arrest him, but that's what happened in Pennsylvania with a 27-year-old Patrick McCarty. He did just that. Allegedly told police he wanted to be arrested for, what do you think, Heidi?
I have no idea.
For, I quote, for being stupid.
What?
Police told him, son, that's not a crime. He took police to his apartment and handed over some marijuana, some drug paraphernalia. They said,
now that
is a crime.
Now we can arrest you.
Now being held in lieu of a $10,000 bond. So what was the point of that? He just wanted to be arrested for being
Maybe
stupid.
he just felt guilty and
could be.
and didn't want to be a criminal. So
I'm
that's
super
good.
duper
You know what?
proud
Good
of
for
Patrick
him.
for that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand any of what just happened there in that story. I mean, none of that makes any sense to me at all. So he came to them and
Maybe
said,
that's
arrest
what
me.
he meant. I'm stupid because I did these things.
That could be.
I'm stupid, so arrest me. Here's why I'm
Here,
stupid.
This is how stupid I am. I'm
Yeah.
going to hand you this.
Good for him.
Very good.
He's trying to turn a new leaf.
There you go. Well, he had some leaves. That's why he was in trouble in the first place. All right. This has been your brain on drugs.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Now your moment of duh. Training for, what could happen turned into what really happened. A 72-year-old Melbourne, Florida woman was accidentally shot by her husband during a, quote, robbery drill.
Accidentally.
The couple staged a practice on how they would respond if somebody broke into their home. That's when he shot the woman. This is how I'd respond, woman. Boom, boom. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office said Arnold and Patricia Morris had very little experience with guns. The shooting was clearly an accident. 911 was called after a .38 caliber pistol was fired. The wife was airlifted for surgery at a hospital. The two were very fortunate to escape serious injury. Patricia Morris was expected to make a full recovery. And my question is, will she forgive her husband for shooting her?
If it was truly an accident, yes.
So they were practicing, hey, what happens if somebody breaks into the house? Mm-hmm. I think what I'll do is I'll grab this gun right here and start waving it around and see what happens.
Yeah.
Don't do it that way. If you don't know how to handle a weapon, you shouldn't have a weapon. Now, I'm not against owning weapons. We own weapons, but
Yes,
we know how to use them. As a matter of fact, Heidi is quite the marksman. That's why quite often you'll hear me apologize for the dumb things I say on this program. So there you go. Because I don't want to be in the moment of duh. All right, coming up, we've got your scoop of the day. That's on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
This is your scoop of the day. A court fined a man in Germany after he admitted to knocking his girlfriend out with a sedative so he could do what?
So he could go out with his friends.
No, play video games.
Oh my gosh, that's even worse.
This is terrible. After 10 hours at work, the girlfriend had been planning on a quiet evening. After drinking some drugged tea, the woman slept until the midday the following day. And it was all because this guy had this plan to, hey, I want to play video games with my buddy. Maybe they should not be dating. I'm just thinking out loud.
Gosh.
Toronto police have charged a man for driving solo in a carpool lane. The lanes are for cars carrying at least 3 people. He tried to fake it by putting 2 mannequins in the car with him.
I've heard of people doing
So,
that.
altogether, there were 3 dummies in that car.
Wow.
The Swiss postal system is testing a new package delivery service that uses drones. That's the Swiss postal service. I'm sure there's some sort of Swiss cheese joke in there. I'll let you work on that. Or Swiss Army knife joke. I don't know. I'm going to move on. Do we really need as much space as we have? As urban populations and housing costs soar, micro-housing is on the rise. In fact, some apartments now are smaller than some parking spaces.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that.
I couldn't do that either. I need a little bit of space.
Yeah.
I could not handle that. The FDA has approved a sunscreen that is the best in the world at blocking out dangerous, cancer-causing ultraviolet light.
Really?
So there's a new sunscreen that's going to be hitting the market.
Nice.
Doesn't say in the story what it's called. Wouldn't that be helpful?
Or when it will be released or where
Yeah.
you can find it.
Once again, John delivering half of what he needs to deliver. Record number of companies in North America are permitting employees to work from home, according to a survey from World at Work. 42% of U.S. companies surveyed said they would offer their employees work from home programs this year. That's up from 30% last year. Now in Canada, the jump was even bigger, from 25% last year to 40% this year. They're saying, hey, we don't want you here anyway. Stay at home. That's great. Doctors are using Coca-Cola now to treat patients who have gastric phobiosers. Pretty sure I said that. I did not go to medical school. I know I probably tricked most of you. More commonly referred to as just a stomach blockage. The treatment is now being favored over surgery. It has a success rate of more than 90%, Heidi. According to researchers from Athens University, which detailed their findings in the, do I got to say all this too? Elementary Pharmacology and Therapeutics, I don't know, some catalog. I bet it's exciting.
It's the equivalent of Drano in your body, basically.
They say Coca-Cola, along with the diet version of Coke Zero, have chemical ingredients that work the same way as gastric acid, and the carbonation helps everything move along. So they're saying this is a great way to kind of unblock things. Now, there was a movie back in the day called Doc Hollywood. You remember this movie?
Oh, yes.
Had your favorite, Michael J. Fox. In that movie, there was a young man that Doc Hollywood, when he first got to that small town, was going to like split him open. And the older doctor came in and just said, here, to have a Coke, and then the kid was better. So Coca-Cola this isn't a new thing. You know,
Right.
They've been using it for years. I think it was actually designed as a medication. Anyway, police in Italy arrested a man for stealing some tortellini from a store. Alerted by neighbors of suspicious noises coming from Bologna tortellini shop, police turned up to catch a man helping himself to some free pasta while the store was closed for lunch. Why would the store be closed for lunch? Get this,
Yeah,
the
that doesn't
suspect's
make any
name?
sense at all.
The guy's name was Stefano Spaghetti. Yes, it was.
Oh my
He was being put into
gosh.
police car. Spaghetti reportedly mumbled, I don't think I even like tortellini. Well, he doesn't know. Hey, something that I don't have a place for, I'm going to just jam it in here. There are over 400 different sign languages in the world.
Really?
Not just one. I thought there was
I
one
thought it was
sign-
universal.
No, there's 400 different sign languages in the world. I have no clue. I only know a couple things. I can sign my name in sign language. That's it. And I don't know which one that is. Apparently, the American one.
Well, yeah, it must just be English.
Apparently. And
I did not know that there was more than one.
Nor
I
did
thought
I.
it was
That's why I
one
wanted
for
to share it.
everybody.
I wanted to share that
That's
bit of info.
fascinating.
I should have let Charlie do that to make everybody think he was smart.
But I suppose that
didn't.
makes sense because if you're spelling out like letters when you do your name,
Yeah.
like the Chinese alphabet is completely different. So
I don't know how they do sign language. They've got a very interesting... Let's move on. The strange law. In Elko, Nevada, everyone walking the streets is required to wear a mask. If you're not wearing a mask on the streets in Elko, Nevada, you are breaking the law.
like what like a Halloween mask?
I don't know. You're supposed to wear a mask on the streets in Elko, Nevada. So if you're not wearing a mask, you're breaking the law. And if you are wearing a mask, you're probably getting ready to break a law. So that's kind of
Yeah.
an interesting thing. Thanks for listening. That's your Strange Law. And this has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening on a Thursday. I've got a special guest on the telephone line, and they call her the Crazy Critter Lady, Kelly Meister from CrazyCritterLady.com. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm good, John. How are you?
Very good. Now, how long have they called you the Crazy Critter Lady? Has this been for a long, long time?
Yeah, I've definitely been a little unbalanced for many years. Crazy Critter Lady came up probably, 10 plus years ago, based on some crazy stuff I was doing with animal rescue at that time, and the name just stuck.
That's really cool. And I like that you embraced it. You know, there's some people, if somebody called them a crazy critter lady, they'd be upset. But I like that you embraced it. And you say, you know what? I am crazy about critters. I'm going with it.
There you go.
Now, you've got a couple of books that you've written. What was the first book that you put out, Kelly?
Crazy Critter Lady, obviously, was the name of the first book, and it details my experiences rescuing and caring for animals in need, all kinds of different species, chipmunks, birds, cats, ducks. And then my second book, which was just out last year, is No Better Medicine, and that picks up the story where Crazy Critter Lady left off with more stories and some different species in the new one.
And then you're working on another one right now as well, is that right?
Yes, I'm about 16 chapters into it, but that's not really as impressive as it sounds because my chapters tend to be very short, so I end up with 28 chapters in a book or something like that. So I've got a ways to go yet.
So now, what is the process when you're putting a book together like this? Does it take a long time, or how long did it take to do, let's say, the first one? How long did that take?
It took longer to come up with, I've always been a writer, but to come up with a book full of subject matter, that took years before I realized, I've got all these great animal experiences. I could write about these.
Nice.
Once I figured that out, writing the actual book took probably 8 months, and since I am so technologically challenged, I actually wrote out with a pen and paper most of the chapters, and then transcribed them into a computer once somebody taught me how to use one.
Well, that is absolutely awesome. Now, can you share any of the stories? Is there a particularly crazy or fun story that we can kind of at least give a little synopsis of to give people a taste of what they're going to find in the books?
Sure. Well, there are recurring stories about domestic ducks, which are flightless. They can't fly. Flight is bred out of them. People don't know that, and they put them in their kids' Easter baskets when they're ducklings, and they're very cute. And then when they grow up, they just dump them at area ponds and lakes because they think they're wild mallards when they're not. So I've been caring for some of these domestic ducks at a pond in my local city for many years. And one year it was particularly cold, and the pond, it was a big pond that was about 20 feet deep. Pond froze mostly, and one of those ducks got stuck out in the middle of it and couldn't get up. Her belly looked like it was frozen to the ice. So I got down on my hands and knees and crawled out into the middle of this mostly frozen pond to see if I could rescue her, and that's when people decided I was crazy.
So you were on top of the ice that was just like a crust of ice. You didn't break through, did you?
No, but they had an aerator in this. It's a small lake, really, and it has an aerator in it that kept part of the lake open for the ducks. And so, as I say, it was not entirely frozen. It looked like it was a good few inches, but, it's kind of dicey. You don't know what's going on out in the middle. Thankfully, the ice did not break. The duck saw me coming, got scared, managed to get herself moving, and so she was fine, and I made it back to hard ground without any incident. But a lot of people let me know that was probably not one of my better ideas.
That was a great way to earn the nickname Crazy Critter Lady right there.
Yep.
Well, if I would like to buy a copy of your first book or your second book, where do I go to find those?
You can go to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com. They're available at both places.
Very nice. And then what do I look for when I go on there? Just Crazy Critter Lady?
Sure. Just type in the name of the book that you want, and it will come up. And they usually have some sale prices there you can take advantage of.
Well, we're going to send them out to find your book. And I certainly appreciate taking some time to chat with us. It's been a whole lot of fun to get to know you a little bit. And that is a crazy story. I've never done that, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon.
I wouldn't recommend it, John.
Kids, do not go out on the ice to get a duck. Well, thank you for doing that, for saving the little duckling. Again, we've been visiting with Kelly Meister from CrazyCritterLady.com. You can go there as well to learn more. And thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday morning. And thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you would never ask. Today is Thursday. It is the 13th day of August, which means today is International Left-Handers Day.
Ah.
So if you're a left-hander,
I don't get to celebrate.
today is your day. Now, when I was a little boy, I was left-handed, and then when I was in kindergarten, they taught me to write right-handed. My teacher changed me over to a righty. So now there's some things I do lefty, there's some things I do righty. When we go bowling, I can bowl righty or I can bowl lefty. But did you know if you're in a bowling league, you need to pick a hand and stick with it?
Choose one
I
and
found that out.
Stick with it.
In a bowling league. And I was like, are you kidding me? I am like dead last on that scoreboard.
What do you care
really
which
care?
hand I'm using?
Anyway. And it's also Blame Someone Else Day today. So if you've got something
That's every
going on,
day in America.
yeah, if you've got something going on in your life that you're not happy with, blame somebody. If you can't think of anyone else to blame Heidi. That's what I do. All right. This is a special day. Get out and celebrate. It is Thursday, the 13th day of August.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Have you ever been rejected?
Yeah.
Take heart. It might have made you a better judge of character in the future. Miami University study says being rejected by peers and friends and family can give you the added advantage of spotting a fake when you encounter one. The study shows people who have faced rejection have an enhanced ability to determine whether the happy face in front of them is a real happy face or if it's a fake happy face. Researchers found that subjects who were manipulated to feel rejection were able to distinguish a fake smile from a real smile nearly 80% of the time. According to researcher Michael Bernstein, real smiles are incredibly difficult to fake because a real smile is an automatic response to a positive feeling. Bernstein says if you can tell the difference between a real smile and a fake smile, you can identify a good person that you can relate to while weeding out not so good people.
Agreed.
You're pretty good at this.
I am very
You're
good at
amazing
this.
at this. You're so good at, like, we'll meet somebody, and then she'll give me, like, a little summary after we leave.
Yeah.
And so many times that turns out to be right. Maybe that's because you live in a glass half empty world. You always think the worst of everyone. I know
No.
you're like, I told you that guy was bad news.
I don't think the worst of everyone. There are a lot of
I
people
know.
that I think
You
are
don't.
absolutely
I
wonderful
agree.
people, but
And there
I
are
just
many.
have a very good
Every once in a
BS
while,
detector.
yeah, you've got like a seventh sense or a sixth sense or
Yeah.
what? How many senses do we have? 5. So that would be your sixth sense, which is too hard for me to say. I'm going to just go with eighth. You have like an eighth sense about it. So she's really good at that. When we'll meet somebody, and you know, I'm so gullible. I fall for everything.
You do.
I thought
This
I was.
is why I think we were paired up.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I'm supposed to protect you from
Thank you,
stupid
God,
things.
for delivering Heidi to me.
And you
because
don't always
it
listen to
works
me,
so
and
well.
it always backfires.
No, it
for
doesn't
us.
always. Just
most of
most
the
of the time. Okay, just some of the time. There was that one time it didn't backfire. Now, what I'm talking about is, you know, I'm gullible. I do things like I signed up for a timeshare. We've never used it. Never. Anybody want to buy a timeshare?
How many multi-level marketing?
Oh, I've done a couple.
plans?
I'm like the poster child for those things. So people are like, hey, I was thinking of you the other day. I'm like, okay, what are we signing up for? I don't even. Let's just cut to the chase and I'll just sign it.
Countless
I don't do them anymore, by the way.
business dealings that
Yeah,
have
there's several
backfired
things. There's been a couple.
with bad people.
I've had my fair share of falling for things. We'll put it that
Yeah.
way. But you know what? Here's the good news. At the end of the day, I'm gonna believe in people. I believe in mankind. I believe that if
you
you're
can
good,
believe in people without
others will be
without
good too.
taking stupid risks.
Okay.
There's
I'll
a
quit
difference.
falling for stuff. How's
yeah,
that
let's
sound?
do that. That'd be
Can we move
super.
on? You're making me really uncomfortable right now. Anyway, if you want to know more about this story that we were talking about way back at the beginning, this is from Miami University. They found that if you've ever been rejected, that can help you in the future. So apparently I have a very bright future. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Take a listen to this. After an audition, Stephen Smith landed the job of his dreams. Now, this would be the job of my nightmares. He's now the Coddle and Austin Circus in England, knife thrower's assistant.
Oh, they were looking for somebody.
He doesn't hand the knife thrower knives. No, he stands in front of a target and then prays that he doesn't get
Well, I'm glad they
speared.
found someone. We just read this, literally.
The job involves standing against a 3-foot wide board, facing 10 knives thrown at speeds of 60 miles an hour, twice a day, 6 days a week. Smith, a former trampoline champion, was previously out of work and excited about his new job. He says, I'm not nervous at all. It's all positive thoughts I'm having. I really want to go for it. I really want to show the crowd that I can perform. Wait, you perform? You just stand there and hope you don't get killed.
Well, and didn't he cut his last assistant?
I don't know if this is the same one. This is the Cottle and Austin Circus in England.
Assuming it's the same
well,
one.
there
How
could
many
be
people could have been looking for
probably a bunch.
knife throwing assistants right now?
If they keep hitting the assistant, they're all looking for them all the time. But this guy, he's really happy to do it. Now, he used to be
good for him.
trampoline champion. Is that a job?
Apparently.
So what do you do for work? I'm a trampoline champion. How are things going? Up and down.
Oh, gosh. Wow.
All right. Coming up, we got pie in the news. We'll get to that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
If you were listening a little bit ago, I gave you the punchline before I told you the joke. And it's not a joke. This is true. Police in Laguna Beach, California, came to the aid of a woman who feared her house was going to burn down. They didn't rescue her from any flames. In fact, she wasn't even home, and her house wasn't on fire. The woman contacted the police because she was worried their home might catch on fire while she was out of town. You know why?
Why?
She left a pie in the oven.
Oh.
Yeah. The good-natured police department obliged. They sent men over to turn off her oven and averted any disaster. Police Chief Greg Barr says it's not uncommon for people to call the police afraid that they've left boiling water or irons on, but this is our first pie. So,
did they get to eat the pie?
I don't know. It doesn't say. And it doesn't say if the pie was burned. It doesn't say what flavor of pie. And it doesn't say if she said thank you. But I'll bet she said thank you.
I'm sure she said thank you.
Probably with a fresh pie. That's what I would do if I were her. So, just saying. That's kind of a fun story. Coming up here in a moment, we've got some advice for you people who have bosses. If you have a boss, listen up. We're going to tell you what the boss is saying with their, funny little words that they use, and then we got what it really means. That is on the way. Coming up in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for listening on a Thursday. Bosses, listen up. When you talk to your staff using business jargon and management jargon, it alienates employees, and it makes them perceive you as being untrustworthy and weak. That's according to a British organization, YouGov. 40% of the people polled said that the use of jargon is on the rise in their office. A whopping 60% said they'd like to work in a jargon-free zone. But most managers are clueless. 55% think that using such language is not a problem. Here are 10 gobbledygook phrases bosses should never use. You ready for these?
I am ready.
We don't use any of these. Blue sky thinking. Don't ever say blue sky thinking. That doesn't mean anything. Never say, we're going to get our ducks in a row. We don't have ducks. We don't need them in a row. Next, if you're having a meeting and say, okay, guys, time for a brain dump. Don't say that.
I've never heard
I've heard
that phrase
That's terrible.
At all.
Here's one that I have heard. Time to think outside of the box.
You say that one a lot.
No, I really don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't say that.
You are so
Heidi,
full of crap.
I don't say that because I think outside of the box, so I don't use things. Oh, wait, I just said it. No, I really don't say that.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't think I do. Here's another word to quit using. Joined up thinking. Another one, drilling down. Another one is, we're going to push the envelope. Whose envelope? Where are you pushing it to? Don't be pushing no envelopes. Another one, I've never heard this, but the helicopter view. Well, the helicopter view of our company says, this is what would be like an overview. Just say it's an overview. Low-hanging fruit. So those would be easy targets. So we're going to go out and get the low-hanging fruit first. And then the last thing is, and I say this one all the time, at the end of the day, I say that way too much.
You do. You say that
Something
one.
you say before what you say. at the end of the day, it's all going to be fine.
Yep.
And I got to quit saying that. And I noticed you started saying that too now. And our kids say it. Our dog even barked it the other day. So I think I got a problem. So if you're wondering what they're saying, I remember working at a place where we had a manager that used a lot of these same things. Not necessarily these, but he'd say the same phrases over and over and over. So one of the guys and I, we had a fun little competition. We made bingo cards. So during our sales meeting, as he was doing that, we were crossing off, and whoever got a bingo first was the winner, and it was fun because I got my bingo first. I knew what he was going to say. I just put them in order. It was like bing, 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 done. So if you want to have fun, you can do that at your next meeting. Or do your job and not get fired. That'd be good. That'd be a good idea, too. Coming up, we've got some good news to end the program. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
Heidi, we're getting close to the end of the program, and I always like to end with something positive, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I strive to find something positive in this world to talk about. And it's so easy to find negative things because everywhere you look in the news, they want to talk about negative things. Mm-hmm. I like to try to focus at least a little bit of my efforts on something positive. So here goes. An architect in London has come up with an innovative solution to help the city's homeless population. And they call them floating sleeping pods. I don't know why they need to float. This is the thing that's interesting to me. James Furzer won an award for his plywood pods, which are designed to hang above head height from host buildings in the city. So they hang like up in the air, so they're way up out of the way. They're designed to hang above head height from host buildings. The temporary shelters, which could be used for an overnight stay or for some respite during the day, they're constructed of untreated plywood, and they're held up by a steel frame. You can get up there using a ladder. The space compromises a bed and a mattress and a makeshift living area. So it's cool that they're doing something for people who don't have a place to stay. But my question is, why do they have to hang them up in the air?
Well, maybe there's no space.
I don't understand.
There's all kinds of space up high, so put them up there.
But wouldn't it be easier to have them down low where they can get in and out of them easier?
Well, it'd be easier to get in and out of them, but then they'd be taking up space.
I suppose. Well, could it possibly be that crowded in London that they don't have any space? There's got to be some space
is pretty,
somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. I just, again, not trying to shine negative light on it. I think it's a really cool thing.
Crazy.
Okay. I think it's really cool that they're doing it. It just really confused me. Found a link if you want to check it out. I'll throw it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And if you don't put the show, you find some really nice couple that's not us. I feel sorry for them. They get a lot of misdirected traffic. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can get all shaved up for way less than you think. Just go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio. And for those of you who still have big old bushy beards, you need to know beards are on the way out. For many, beards have already been out.
Yeah, beards have.
So if you got a big old bushy beard and you're going, I want to be with the, right uptown with the times. Time to shave, boys. Go to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to be on the cutting edge of the very next thing. Clean-shaven, handsome faces. Instead of big old furry, funny faces.
I've never been
a
beard
I tried.
person.
I wanted to grow a beard, and you didn't like it. You're like,
No.
I just don't like that. And it doesn't help me that I have a bald spot on each side right by my ear.
Yeah, it looks like a strap-on.
It looks like a fake beard.
It's a fake beard.
So even when I grow a beard, it looks like I'm wearing a fake
Yeah.
beard. They're like, dude,
It doesn't work for you.
your beard's falling off over there. I'm like, no, that's just a bald spot on each side. Why would I have that?
I don't know.
But I'll tell you, of all places to have a bald spot, I'll take it there. Even though, back when I was a kid, remember the TV show 90210?
Yeah.
When that came out,
yeah.
there was in trend was everybody was wearing sideburns. You try growing sideburns when you have a bald spot in the middle of the sideburns. Didn't work so hot for me.
I never really liked those either.
Well, good news. I can't grow them even if you like them.
Well, that's good.
So,
I'm fine with that.
I could Sharpie some on there if you want to. Back to what we were talking about. If you'd like to shave, maybe you've got terrible sideburns that you need to get rid of. Shave those off with a razor from Dollar Shave Club. Learn more, dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Take a listen to this. 37-year-old Charles Delaria was arrested for stealing from the New England Eye and Tissue Transplant Bank in Boston. Who would steal from that?
Aww.
Well, a moron. That's who would do it.
Well, maybe he didn't have the money to pay
No.
for what he needed.
No. Here's what happened. 2 human corneas that were donated to be transplanted is what he stole. The state police asked, "Why did you steal it?" He said, I thought it was a lobster.
What?
He stole a little cooler that he thought was a lobster. He took off running thinking, I got this foam packaging. I'm going to have me some lobster. Got home and ate it. He's like, that was the worst lobster
Ew.
I've ever had in my life. No, he didn't really eat it. But he was arrested for burglary either way.
Oh, man.
Imagine how dumb he feels. So what you in for? Stealing some donated corneas? Way to go. I'm the guy that killed the man who donated those corneas.
Oh, gosh.
All right. A Wisconsin judge ordered a 74-year-old grandmother to sew a quilt for charity in lieu of serving jail time. What did she do? She's 74. 74-year-old granny. She snatched her grandson from his parents.
Oh.
Betty Richmond was convicted of kidnapping her own grandson. She said, I was just taking him on a trip. I didn't tell his parents. Judge William Dyke originally sentenced her to 23 days in jail. Then she fainted in the courtroom. So he decided, well, I'm going to change your sentence, which gives me a great idea. If ever you're in jail or if you're ever in court and they give you a sentence, just faint. Apparently they have you sew a quilt instead then.
She must have had a bad relationship with the parents. Otherwise, why wouldn't she have asked if she could take the
I don't know.
child?
Maybe she didn't, it doesn't say anything on here about her mental state. Maybe she didn't know she was doing something wrong. I have no clue. The quilt, by the way, for those of you who are wondering, the judge doesn't get to keep the quilt. It's going to be auctioned off for a children's charity. And finally, an Arkansas man was charged with burglarizing the home of a childhood friend. This is the funniest story ever on how he got caught. He was linked to the crime because he left cheese wrappers on the kitchen counter. That doesn't sound too crazy until you hear the rest of the story. 21-year-old Anthony Robinson stole $1,800 worth of property from the victim, who grew up with Robinson and identified him as a possible suspect after seeing the cheese wrappers on a kitchen counter. Robinson said he's had that habit ever since he was a kid. According to the police, the victim had seen Robinson on Friday for the first time in 3 years, and the burglary took place the next day. So he saw the guy. He's like, man, I haven't seen you forever. What have you been up to? Wow, you seem to be very successful. Where do you live these days anyway? What is the address?
And Steve Urkel's attorney had no comment.
What time do you work anyway? What time do you go to work tomorrow? That is awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he went and burglarized his house. Why Steve Urkel's? Did he do that with the cheese wrappers?
Every time. Remember? Do you remember
I
that
didn't
show?
watch that
He'd
show.
go over to their house. Got any cheese?
I did not watch the show.
Every single episode.
I like cheese.
Got any cheese?
That would have been funnier if I'd known that. So. Now it's very funny. All right. Thank you so much for listening to our bonus break. We appreciate the folks who do listen to this podcast. Every time I get the little, what's it called, the dashboard every week, I get to click on there and see. I don't see who listens, so if you're listening, it's not like I'm following up and going, ooh, hey, she's listening. Hubba, hubba. I don't know any of that stuff.
That better not be happening.
But I do see that people are listening, and they're sharing it with friends because more people are listening.
That's awesome. I love that.
And I don't know if you listen all the way to this bonus break. We could have lost everybody by now. There could be nobody listening right now. I have no idea. I don't know how any of that stuff works. There's probably something I could look on, but I've got a life, and I don't dig into that. But I do want to say, for those of you who do listen, thank you so much for listening. And if you listen in an area where we're not on the radio, and if you're going, boy, I'd love to hear this nonsense on the radio in my area, you should let the local radio station in your area know that they could put our program on their radio station for free. Doesn't cost them a nickel. Just throw it on.
That's right.
Who would do that? I don't know. Probably two crazy people. But if you happen to know somebody that has a radio station in your area and you'd like to have our program on, get a hold of them or have them get a hold of me, or get a hold of me and I'll get a hold of them, whatever. Either way, I just think it'd be really cool. I appreciate you tuning in. The Dollar Shave Club is who sponsors our bonus break because they're awesome, and I use their razors. I really do. Smooth shaven most of the time. Today I'm all scruffy. I didn't shave today. So I really probably shouldn't be promoting something I'm not using today, but I do use them, and I do love them.
Nobody knows. Just tell them you're silky smooth.
That's what I meant to say, is I'm silky smooth.
It's not like we have a camera in
I'm
here.
as smooth as a whale's butt. I don't know if that's smooth, I'm assuming. But it's all because of my friends at the Dollar Shave Club. Smooth as a whale's butt. DollarShaveClub.com/radio.